Hi, in this video I am going to talk about the topic called as control structures in C language. Okay, control structures. Let us look at the statements related to it. See, when we have a program is nothing but a set of instructions. So usually when the program is executed, the line 1 will get executed first, followed by line 2, line 3, and it goes on till the end of the program. But sometimes we would want to skip some lines in between and we would want to go to some other line. Suppose I have 5 lines. I have gone to the first line, I have executed, the compiler executes it, second line also gets executed, then the control should go to the fifth line directly by skipping the third and fourth line. Okay, so what we can do for this? How do we skip some statements and go to some other statement? So for that purpose, we have control structures in C. Okay, so here see this. A program is nothing but the execution of sequence of one or more instructions. Quite often, it is desirable to alter the sequence of the statements in the program depending upon certain circumstances, or repeating a set of statements until a specified conditions are met. These are control structures. Okay, so this involves a kind of decision making to see whether a particular condition has occurred or not and direct the computer to execute certain statements accordingly. Okay, so based on the applications, it is necessary or it is essential that we alter the flow of the program. Some conditions need to be checked and control the flow of execution as per the selection. Okay, these statements can be placed in the program using decision making statements. Okay, so here you see I have given you the broad classification of control statements. So control statements are broadly divided into two types. One is branching statements, the other one is looping statements. In branching also we have two types. One is conditional branching, the other one is unconditional branching. Okay, and in looping statements we have two types: entry control looping and exit control looping. In this video I am going to talk about conditional branching statements. So I'll be talking about if else, nested if else, and cascaded if else and switch statement. So I will show you the syntax, the flow chart, and an example about how these statements work. Okay, so let's start. The first one is if statement. If. Okay, so how does the syntax look like? See here. See the right side. Okay, left side also okay, right side one is also okay. So what is if statement? First of all, it is a statement that is a powerful decision making statement and it is used to control the flow of execution of statements. See the syntax. How does it look like? It looks like this. See, let me open the pen for this. Okay, so here, see here, this is the syntax. Okay, so how does this look like? So it is going to look like this. See, if there is a condition or a test expression, that means if that condition, okay, if it is true, then the control comes to the statement part. Okay, you have to understand, if the condition given is true, if it is valid, then the control of the program comes to the statement that is placed within that if block. So that statement that you can see in the green, okay, so that will be executed. If not, let's say the condition is not satisfied. At that time, the control will come out of that. So you see that opening bracket and the closing bracket here. Sorry, you see the opening bracket and the closing bracket here. If this is true, the control comes here. If this is false, the control comes to the rest of the program. Okay, so you have to remember, in case of if statement, if the condition is true, certain statements in the if block will be executed. If it is false, the control comes out of the if block. Okay, so the syntax also looks like this. See, if it is, if means it is, it is put under rhombus, right? So entry comes here. If the condition is true, certain statements in the if block will get executed. Otherwise, if it is false, the control comes to the rest of the program. See the example that we have given. Okay, see the example. Okay, to check the equivalence of two numbers. I am giving the two numbers, okay, and I want to check if these two numbers are equal or not. So here you see the program. Okay, let me show you the program. See here. So header file main function, enter the two numbers and see how I have written the if condition. So two numbers are there. How can you say if they are equal? When you subtract them, if you get the difference as 0, then you can say that the two numbers are equal. For example, if I give both the numbers as 5, so 5 minus 5 is equal to 0, right? So that means both the numbers that we have entered is equal. So here, if the condition, so if m minus n is equal to 0, it is checking for the that equivalence. Okay, if it is 0, the control comes here and it prints that line that the two numbers are equal. If not, for example, if I give the two numbers as 5 and 3, so it will check, is 5 minus 3 equal to 0? No, it is not. Then the control comes out of that. Okay, so do you understand this program? How does if statement work? If statement means there is a condition, and if the condition is true, the control comes to the if block. Otherwise, the control comes out of the if block. Okay, so for example, let me show you one example for uh, if statement. Okay, so here, so I want to check if a person can vote. If a person can vote. So I will have the header file, correct? So then I will have void main. I'm not writing the entire thing. I will assume you understand. So for a person to vote, we need the age of that person. So declaration, ask the user for the age. Ask the user by giving printf. Then scanf statement, because it is integer, %d, and the variable is age. Like this. Now, how will you write the condition? So, you'll write if bracket open, okay, age, that is your variable. So, how can you tell if a person can vote? Which person can vote? The person whose age is 18 or above, correct? Those are the persons who can vote. So, how will you write? You will write something like this. If the age is greater than or equal to 18, open the if block, write person can vote. Person can vote. Close that if bracket and close the program. Okay, finish the program. Now, how does this work? Let me take one example and show you. Let me give the age as 15. Okay, now you see here. It will input the age is 15. Okay, so it will take the input and the control will come here. See, the age I have given is 15, correct? So it will check here. Is 15 greater than or equal to 18? Is 15 greater than or equal to 18? No, it is not greater than or equal to 18. So, because this condition is false, now the control won't go to the if block, but it will come out of the if block over here. Are you understanding? If the condition is false, the control comes out of the if block. Now, let me show you one more example. Okay. Let me give the age as 20. Okay, so here the value will be taken. So here it will have the value 20. So it will check whether 20 is greater than or equal to 18. Is 20 greater than or equal to 18? Yes, it is greater than or equal to 18. So the control comes, if this condition is true, the control comes to the statement which is inside the if block. So it says that the person can vote. So that will be your output. Okay, so if the condition is true, person can vote. For example, that previous example where I had told that the age was 15, that means the control comes out of the if block because the condition is not satisfied, but there is no statement that I have placed, right? So it will not display anything. So if you give the age as 20, it will print saying the person can vote. But if you give age less than 18, then it will not print anything because I have not given any statement for that. Okay, so only if the condition is true, the statement will get executed. But what if the condition is false? Then what to do? I want to say that the person cannot vote also if the age is lesser than or equal to 18. So for that case, we have the next conditional statement called as if else statement. Are you understanding? If else statement. But before that, let's try to write the flow chart for this. Okay, let me zoom out a bit. Okay. So how will I start? Writing the flow chart. Start. Okay. Then declaration. So declaration means, sorry, the lines, it's supposed to be a rectangle. It's supposed to be a rectangle. So declaration, right? So only one. So int age. Okay. Then input statement. Okay. So you will ask the user, or you can just write printf, enter the age. Enter the age and followed by the scanf statement. Then the control comes here to this line. So we see that if age is greater than or equal to 18, you know that if there is a condition, rhombus is supposed to be used. So you will write is, okay, so because it's checking for a condition, no, so we have written is. Okay, so is age greater than or equal to 18? Question mark. Is it greater than or equal to 18? If it is true, what will happen? If it is false, what will happen? Okay, now you should know that if it is true, if the condition is true, the control comes to the lines that is in the if block and it will execute. So if it is true, that statement which is in the if block is the print statement. So the control will come here and it will print. The person can vote. Okay. If it is not, then what is going to happen? That means if the condition is not satisfied, the control comes here. Here, if it is coming, the control is coming there, means it is almost like the end of the program, right? Because there is no statements after that. So that will be the end of the code. But this shouldn't be left empty. Once the statement is executed, if it is true, person can vote will be printed. After that, it has to exit, right? So the control will come here. Okay, so condition, if it is true, a statement will get executed which is in the if block. If it is false, it will come out of that if block and the other statements will get executed. But since here there are no other statements, so it will directly end the code. I hope you have understood. So let's go to the next one. That is the if else one. Okay. See this is for if else. Let's read the definition and all of that. Okay. So it is observed that if statement executes only when the condition following it is true. It does not do, do anything when the condition is false. So what to do for this? For this, the solution is if else. If else, either true block or false block will be executed and not both. The else statement cannot be used without if. So what does that mean? See here. Look at that definition. Look at the syntax. If the condition or test expression is true, if it is true, I'm so sorry. If it is true, the control comes here. See, if the condition is true, the control comes to one block. If the condition is false, then the control comes to the next block, as you can see. So, condition is true means the statements within that if block. If it is false, the control comes to the part which is having the statements after the else part. Okay. Now we can rewrite that code. If the person is above 18, he can vote. Else you can print a statement saying that the person cannot vote. Let us look at one example over here. But before that, the flow chart. See here. This is how the flow chart is going to look like. If the condition is true, the true block, the first block will get executed. If the condition is false, the other block will get executed. That is, your else block will get executed, and then rest of the program if there is any code after the if block. Okay, so it is basically a two-way decision statement, one for true and the other one is for false. Okay, so let's see an example. Okay, this is again the same example as you can see. Here to check the equivalence of the two numbers. See here, it will ask for the two numbers. See here, left side, enter the two numbers, percentage %d, m and n. Now, how do I write the if condition? Think. So, if m minus n is equal to 0, that means if it is 0, if the difference is 0, that means the numbers are equal. So, it will come here. The control will come to that part, print part. So, it will get executed. What if the numbers are different? What if you have given 10 and 8? That means the control will come to the else part. What should you print? The numbers are not equal. Okay, and how does the flow chart look like? See here. It will start, then read the two numbers m and n. Check if n minus m is equal to 0. If it is true, the two numbers are equal, and if it is false, the numbers are not equal. Okay, so this is how we do. Now let me show you one more example. Okay, 1 minute. Let me. Okay, one more very important program here. Okay, so to check if a number is even or odd. Okay, to check if a number is even or odd. So header file will be there. Okay, like this, header file will be there. Void main. Okay, you will have the declaration. So you have to input a number. So a number means one number. So I will name it as num. Now ask the user for that number. So enter the number. Scanf percentage %d ampersand num. Now if condition. If num. Now you see, how do you say if a number is even or odd? Okay, just a second. How do you, one second. Okay, let us continue the session. So I had told you that we'll be writing a program to check if a number is even or odd. See, for example, okay, see, if I have a number 2, you know that this number is even. For example, if I write 155, you know that this number is odd. Okay, how did you come to this conclusion that this is even and this is odd? See, you can, because these are even numbers, the end is an even number. So if it is an even number, the number itself is even, and the last number, if it is odd number, then the entire number is an odd number. But how do you write the logic for the system? See, the computer cannot think, right? So we have to provide the logic for everything. So what you can do is, if a number is there, and whether you have to tell it as even or odd, you simply divide it by 2. If you divide it by 2 and you get the remainder as 0, then you can say that the number is even. For example, if I take 33 and I try to divide. Okay, so 1. So 2. So if I 13. So 2 times 6. So 12. And I am getting the remainder as 1. See, I divide the number by 2, and if I get the remainder as a non-zero number, then the number is an odd number, correct? So, out of all the operators you know, can you tell me which operator gives you the remainder of the two numbers? So, if it is plus, we get the sum. If it is minus, we get the difference. If it is multiplication, then we get the product. If it is this, okay, so for example, 12, 5. If I do the slash, we are getting the quotient. So the quotient is 2. But if I want to get the remainder of the two numbers, so 36 mod 3. Mod is the operator that will be giving you the remainder. So here, if I write, if I divide a number by 2 by using the modulus operator and I get the remainder as 0, that means your number is even. Correct? Your number is even. Else your number is false. See. So if this condition is true, the control comes here, and if this condition is false, the control comes here. If this is true, the control comes here, and if this is false, the control comes here. So if I have to show the flow chart, I will write like this. Let me erase all this right side information, and so I will start. So let's start. Then declaration. So int num. Ask the user for the number. So we can simply write okay. Then to check. So the control comes here. So you will write a rhombus is num mod 2 equal to 0. So if it is true, the control comes to the if block. In the if block, what is the statement we have? Print statement saying number is even. If it is false, the control comes here. Once both are done, we will end the code. Like this. I hope you have understood. You can take up some examples and you can try to execute this. Now let's take the third one. So we have nested if else. See, usually if else means a condition is true, one block. If the condition is false, one more block. Now what they have done is, okay, understand the statement very clearly. If the condition is true, whatever block we enter, that will have one more if condition in it. Are you understanding? So there is an if block. Okay. If that condition is true, the control comes to that if block. And in that if block, there is one more if condition. So you are nesting a if condition within another if condition. So that is what is nested if else statement. Let me read it out. Using of one if else statement in another if else statement is called as a nested if else control statement. When a series of decisions are involved, we may have to use more than one if else statement in the nested form. See here. See in this one. Okay. If the first condition, if the test 1 condition is true, If the test 1 condition is true, the control comes to this part. Correct? But the thing is, when you look at the if block, okay, the condition that is true, then the control comes to the block. That block itself is another if condition. So for this statement to be executed, see very carefully and understand. For this statement 1 to be executed, this condition, test condition true, 2 and test condition 1 also has to be satisfied. Okay, are you understanding? If this, see, can you tell me when will this statement 2 get executed? Think for a minute. When do you think the statement 2 would get executed? I hope you have the answer. The answer is, if this condition is true, test condition 1 is true and the test condition 2 is false, then the control comes here. Because if this is true, the control comes here, this condition. The statement 2, if it has to execute, then this condition has to be false. Are you understanding? So, when there are multiple conditions that need to be checked within one if statement, then you can make use of this. See, for example, okay, let me show you this code. Let me show you this. See, I have, for example, if I have 3 numbers, A, B and C. I want to check the greater among these 3 numbers. I want to check whether A is greater or B is greater or C is greater. So what I will do is, first I will write this condition. If A is greater than B. If A is greater than B, that means A is the greatest. But there might be a condition like this. See, 5, 4 and 9. So A is greater than B. So the control comes here. But again, one more condition is that it has to also be greater than C, right? To become, the greatest. So what we can do is, we can open one more condition and here we can write like this. See, if this both conditions are true, that means your, A is the greatest number. Okay, else you can have the conditions like this. Okay, so see here the example. I have explained that example here. I have written the code. Let me show it to you. See, statement also. See here. Let me show you the code. See, enter the 3 values A, B and C. So if A is greater than B and if A is greater than C, then it is A. Else C. Correct? Otherwise B, otherwise C, it is C. See here. If it is greater than A, if A is greater than B and C, that means A is greatest. Else C. If not, if the control comes here, then it has to be B. Otherwise, of course, it is C, like this. Okay, I hope you have understood this concept. Next one is else if ladder. That means when you have an if condition and if else part, okay. So if condition is true, one statement. If else part, if the condition is false, then it comes to the else part. Correct. When it comes to the else part, we can have one more if condition. That is nested. That is else if ladder. Now, the previous one also was very similar to this one. So what is the difference between the two? So you have to understand that cascaded means if the condition is true, the block it enters also has one more if condition. Okay, if the condition is true, the control comes to a block and that block itself has another if condition. But in this case, in case of else if ladder, if the condition is true, statement will get executed of this block. In the else, if the condition is false, when the control comes to the else part, there is one more if condition. So here you see this. Okay, so test condition 1. If it is true, the control comes to statement 1. If it is not, it comes to the else part But in else we have one more test condition like this. Are you understanding? We have seen this example in our simple calculator program. So if the operator is equal to plus, then we say that we carry out the addition. Else if the operator is equal to minus, then we say that it is no, to do the difference. Like this we do. Okay, so see here. So first if the condition is true and all this, so it will be like something like this. So first condition, if it is true, if the first condition is true, the control comes to statement 1. Otherwise, in the else part, we have one more condition. Like that, if that condition is true, one statement. If it is else, then it goes to another condition. Like this, it goes on. Okay. So, yeah, this is how we write the programs. Okay. Now, switch case. See here, before I write the program using switch case, okay, I think I will have to show you the syntax of it. So let me show you the syntax of it. The switch case statement. See, one more very interesting part, that is when you have multiple conditions. See, else if you was used for multiple conditions, right? Here also, if you have multiple conditions in your program, you can make use of switch case statement. See the definition. Switch is another conditional control statement used to select one option from several options based on a given expression value. And this is an alternative to the if-else ladder. Okay. The selection is based upon the current value of an expression which is included within the switch statement. The switch statement is a multi-way branch statement. Okay. So let's look at the syntax here. See here. If there is a switch, okay, I think I will see here. If switch is the keyword followed by that expression. If it is true, one case will get executed. It will come to the next case. It will come to the next case. If it is false, like that, it will go on. See here. Simple calculator using switch case. See, first you will be asked to input the two numbers. You will input and all that. Okay. Now you see here. Switch OP, because see in calculator what is the main factor to decide which operation to be carried out? It is the operator that you input, right? If you input plus, then it will do the addition. If it is minus, then it will do the difference. So you have to write the variable or an expression that will be considered in the, like we have the condition, right? So here the condition comes here. So not the condition, here it is more precisely called as the expression or a variable that needs to be checked. So what is the case? So switch OP, that means if you are going to check the different values for this OP. So what is the first value? Case plus. What if this operator is having the value plus? Then what do? We find the result and then we break. Okay, we'll talk about this break statement in detail. Okay, see what about the minus statement? What if the operator is minus? So you will write minus. What do? We find the difference of the two numbers. Likewise, for star, for no difference and for quotient and for the remainder. Now, very important thing that you have to understand here is this default statement. What happens is, okay, when you enter any operator that is not given in any of these cases. For example, I have to input an operator. So operator means a symbol, right? So symbol means I can even input dollar also. But how do I know that dollar does not mean any of the operation. So what to do in that case? It's an invalid operator, correct? Which is not relevant to this program. So what you can do is, you can have this statement called as default. And under this, you can print a statement saying if the user inputs anything which is not required, the control will come here and it will print this. It's an invalid operator. And after that, it will print the result. Okay. So switch case, okay, if I have to write the code, then switch is a keyword followed by the variable or an expression that needs to be checked. And for what conditions it needs to be checked, that has to be put under case statement. Okay, case statement. And you have to write the case, the values or the expressions or whatever statements you want within that case, and you have to write break. Break means it will stop the control. Okay, so this is how you will write the switch case statement. Okay, so see here. So this is a program to display the traffic control signal lights. Consider Y means yellow, R means red, and G means green. That means, you have to input the color, and based on the color, whatever is given, you have to, uh, the color it has to get displayed. See here. Enter your choice. So because it is R can be written in capitals or small also, because C is a case sensitive language, right? So they have given the option, see, R, small r, capital G, small g, capital Y and small y. So switch L, light. So what are the different cases? One case is capital R. What if the user gives R as a input? What are you supposed to write? See here, one more important thing. See, in case R, capital R and small r, both means red, right? So what I have done is, for the capital R, I have not given any statement. So the control will directly come to the next one. It will not execute. In this case, when you have not given any statement over here, directly the control will come to this. So here, if you give capital R also, this statement is common, right? Red light, please stop. So this statement will be taken for both of them. See here. Y. So capital Y and small y both will be yellow lights. Correct? Likewise G. And if it is default, that means any other color, then you say that there is no signal point and you stop. Okay? So that is how you will write the code. You have to understand. See, if they tell you write a few lines about if statement, then you have to explain what a if statement is. You have to write its syntax, you have to write its flow chart, and you have to write a sample program. This is how you will write the explanation. Okay, so learn this one. This is all about the conditional branching statements. Okay, so we will stop here. Thank you so much.